I want to talk to you about early season tips. In Missouri, we've got, I think I counted 11 days or 10 days. Either way, it's about a week and a half until the season starts. We've got some big plans for Memorial Day weekend and hunting. Um, you guys will see all that footage whenever it gets put on, but that's in the future. So, Mike,
Yes, sir.
early season. I hate it.
I
You
love it.
love it.
Yes, sir.
I'm not a big fan of ticks and
No.
heat. Um, but we're going to do this. So, early season tips. What can you tell them?
Early season, I focus on the food source.
Okay.
I'm looking for mulberries, a lot of flowering trees that they'll eat the buds off
Mm-hmm.
of. That's what I look for. And it's just, for me, it's steel hunting more than anything.
Okay, so less walking and more
Yep.
sit. Okay.
I'll find my food source and get in about 20, 30 yards of it and just sit down.
Now, how long do you, let's say you find that source, how long do you sit there before you move? Or do you?
I stay until the squirrels quit coming.
Okay. So, early morning, late evening, hunt all day.
I like a day like today where it's cloudy, I'll
Mhm.
hunt all day.
Okay.
If you got temperatures, 75, 80. Of course, I've noticed in the woods, if you're in the shade sitting still, it ain't too bad. I can go up
Yes.
till about noon.
Yes.
But usually by 11,
Mhm.
squirrels are done.
Yeah. Now, we've talked about the
Yep.
differences in the grays and the fox squirrels. The grays are a very early moving squirrel, and the fox squirrels are like the lazy ones. They're definitely out later. But I agree. By midday,
Yep.
there's
They're up sunning somewhere.
yeah, they're not moving around much. Um, what about guns?
That's kind of, for me, it depends on what I'm thinking. If I'm going to steel hunt for a while and it's still cool, I'll go back home, or if I've got it with me, I'll just change guns at the car, and then I'll go to stalking.
So do you start with rifle or shotgun?
Rifle.
Rifle.
Always a rifle.
Okay. Even with the foliage like this.
Yeah. It's a challenge for me.
Okay.
I like the challenge. You got a little thimble-sized hole that you got to thread through.
Yeah.
I've discussed the satisfaction, and when I do that, it's just, I got it.
Yeah. So now the leaves are on the trees, but they're
Mm-hmm.
not as thick now
Nope.
as they will be, in the next 30 to 60 days. Um, so I'm expecting more, when we go hunting Memorial Day weekend, I'm expecting more leaves, but really not much of a difference than what we're seeing where
Not
we are
much
right
now.
now.
Yeah.
I still like a shotgun, uh, to go through some of the foliage that you're going to see. Um, Biggest thing, I agree that still hunting is my preferred way when I
Yep.
do hunt in the early season. Um, it's hard to see them. It's very, very hard to see them, and I got pretty good eyesight.
Well, to see them, if you're still hunting, like if me and you're hunting together,
Mm-hmm.
where you say, sit down, be quiet,
Yeah.
I'm just the opposite. Sit down and talk. Play on their curiosity.
Hmm.
A squirrel's very curious. If you just sit there and try to be non-threatening, don't
Mm-hmm.
show them you're aggressive towards them. And 9 times out of 10, you're sitting there talking, you'll have one 10 feet from you up in a tree looking, trying
Hmm.
to figure out what you are.
Yeah. One thing that I have done, kind of along those lines during the early season, is try to get them to bark at me. So
Yes.
not scare them, not because you don't want to walk through with pots and pans and make them run off, but basically not intentionally make noise, but not really try to creep.
Yep.
Because if they're going to bark at you, then they're a lot easier, of course, to locate. Um, Now with the shotgun, like I like to use early season, ranges are a little bit uh, different. You
Yep.
gotta shoot a little closer. But that 410 that I have, I mean, it'll reach out there with that
Mhm.
full choke a little bit more than some of the other shotguns that are going to spread more.
When I used my 410 with the modified, what did I have it? Modified and the improved.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them out there at 30 yards, I was pretty good.
Yeah,
And that's typical shotgun range for a squirrel.
sure. Yeah, I mean, and you're using what size shot?
7.5 and
Seven and a half.
6s.
Six. Yeah, I'm a big 6 fan. I'll occasionally like this. The sixes will work just fine.
Yep.
I have, when I was living up north in the state, and it was a lot thicker, there were some things that I liked the fours for just to blow through. Um, but really, I mean, you're not shooting, or at least I'm not shooting, um, without being able to see them.
Yep.
So, uh, now when it comes to still early season, but as the weather turns hotter, now it's pretty nice today. It's in the low 70s. It's been rainy for the past couple of days, so it's dropped the temperature. Um, but when the temperature gets into the, say, upper 80s, early 90s, does that change how you hunt?
Yeah, quite a bit.
How so?
I will change from hunting woods more to trying to keep along the creeks.
Hmm.
The temperature change in there will keep them a little more active sometimes.
Now, are you still hunting, or are you?
I still both.
Okay.
It depends. Like if I use my canoe, I like to just pull up on the bank,
Hmm.
where I nose in or sideways and sit and watch.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
have to deal with the ticks that
Oof,
bad.
they
And
are bad.
if the squirrels are moving, which a lot of times they are, because I catch them cutting branches for nest.
Hmm.
When I texted you the other day, I said they were cutting
Yeah.
branches. That's what he was doing.
Yeah.
It was it was a female,
Hmm.
but she was cutting, branches about that big around or so, like my finger, and making a nest with it. And when I see that, I just go sit and wait. Where the girls are, the boys are.
Oh, that's true. They're not gonna be too far. That's the same with deer or turkey or,
Well,
or humans.
with this time of year, what I'm really looking for, I'm looking for the young.
Hmm.
I try not to shoot the older squirrels this time of year. I like the fryers.
Oh, I try to shoot them all.
Oh, I'll shoot them fryers first. If the tail's longer than the body, I'll shoot them. They're tender. That's all.
Yeah, but those big ones, they
They taste good.
they taste good and they make some good dumplings.
Yes, they do.
So, uh, what else can you tell us about early season tips?
You kind of, each place I hunt varies. One place I'm hunting food source. The other place I'll be hunting in trees.
Okay.
If I can find I've got some private property that I hunt on. I like to hunt the fence row. During the summer, they run that row in between the two creeks,
Hmm.
and I just sit down and wait on them.
Now, have you noticed that they go towards water sources, like big water sources, or are they finding enough water in the smaller areas that that's really not something you have to worry about?
The small areas, I don't worry about where the water is
Okay.
because you got enough. I watch the trees like right there. We got a den tree right across the way from us.
Hmm.
There's probably, I'm guessing, that broken limb upper's got a hole in it to hold the water.
Yeah, probably.
Come July, I'll catch more squirrels drinking from nooks out of a tree than I will on the ground.
Yeah, I've noticed that little pools and
Yep.
things like that. It's not like deer where deer are, they'll drink out of little puddles, but
Yep.
you sit by a pond or where we're filming today, the river's not too far
Yep.
away. They're going to go to something like that, and squirrels are a little bit different. They're good with just a small
Just a
small little
small.
pool or puddle or something.
Now, like down here, as thick as you can see the foliage around us. Here it ain't so bad, but as you get in there, it gets a little thicker.
Oh yeah.
I'll go right down to the river, and I'll walk that river as much as I can. And always, for me, I like to keep the sun in my face.
Hmm.
It's harder to shoot, but you will see the squirrels before they see you.
Okay, so that's more of just try to stop them from seeing you thing
Yeah,
then.
you're silhouetting them instead of you being silhouetted.
Okay. Uh, does the equipment that you take with you change early season versus late season?
No,
No.
I carry the same stuff all the time.
Okay. One thing that I use more early season, um, is I do carry my call more. Uh, the distress call seems to work a little bit more for me early season.
Yeah,
Um, but I don't know if you use a call more so or.
more towards not quite this early, sorry, but I'll set more, and as the season goes, they got youngins.
Yes.
And when if I find a spot that's got a lot of youngins that I can't shoot because I can't get close enough,
Hmm.
then I'll use my distress call
Okay.
because I can pull them older squirrels out to me. What I find is a lot of these fields where I hunt, which like this year should be corn, So as that corn's coming up, they'll eat them little shoots.
Yes.
They'll just mow it down, and I set up where I'm in between, and call to them. And what I do with my distress, I don't know if you try to grab a branch and rake the ground like you've got a bird attacking one.
Yeah, no, I haven't. I don't do much of that. And you and I have talked about calls, and we still have that video that we need to shoot on the calls. I use mine more as to get a stubborn squirrel out,
Yep.
more than anything else. I know that you're better at the calls, or have had more success with them than I have. But on the Facebook page and all, squirrel calls are still a big question that we get. A lot of people uh, are curious about that, and we don't need to go into detail about calls because
Oh
we got a
no.
whole video about that. I was just curious as to if your early season calling, if you seemed like you'd used it more, or
If I'm calling for like a distress, I will.
okay.
And then as fall's coming to where they're eating nuts,
Mhm.
I'll do that bark.
Yeah.
I'll chatter like crazy. I don't know if it's correct, but to me it's saying we have food. Come find me. And they will.
Okay.
I'm a sniper. That's my favorite thing. When I go hunting with my other buddies, it's not let's go squirrel hunting, let's go do some sniping. We have like me and you, it's all about shot placement.
Mm-hmm.
And a buddy of mine, he has the longest shot of the day, which is 101 yards. That's a long way for a 22.
I have never thought about shooting a squirrel that far.
I took the first shot, he took the second. He broke his back. That distance, it's hard to put a 22 shell where you want it. But he still made the shot. It was still a good kill. I have the closest. We were hunting in a blind, which this time of year I love blinds. Oh yes. But this squirrel, he come out in front of us, literally 5 feet. I stuck my gun out the window this far from his head and shot him. He just laid his head down on the rock like he went to sleep. I had the closest shot.
So the blind, you bring that up, and I never thought about that. I've got a blind, and I've deer hunted out of it before.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously squirrels around. You can see them. But that does bring up another interesting point of, if you've got, like, we're looking at this den tree, or some of the other, you got these big trees behind us, and that there's a feeder tree.
Oh yes.
Right over here off camera. You could set up your blind. Now, for deer, it seems like it takes time for them to get used to the blind being there.
Yep.
Do you find that that's true for squirrels as well, or
no.
do they just don't care?
Curiosity kills the squirrel. Kind of like Curious George.
Yeah.
Curious Squirrel.
Okay.
Squirrels are just like a cat. A cat sees something new. It may spook him, but he's got to go see what it is. And so will a grazer notorious for it.
Yeah.
I've had them moving around in the trees looking at the blind, get close, and then run off. And then here they come back.
Yeah, it seems like the grays are a little more, not only are they more curious, but they're more aware. They're more kind of conscientious of their surroundings. And it seems like the fox squirrels, man, they just don't care. They're going to find something to eat. They're going to do whatever they're going to do. And
with the fox squirrels, if I'm focusing more on those, I'm looking for where the hawks are. Just circling and screeching, not coming down in the timber. Because that's when that'll push all them foxes down.
That's true. That's true.
I find that in the summertime, I don't know if you've seen the little chicken hawk coming up from the gun range.
I did not.
He flew right next to the car. And I look for that. That's a predator, so that's pushing them. If he's circling over the trees, he's seen something that he wants.
Yeah.
So them squirrels automatically come down. So I go in really quiet and really easy. And I will sit there 30 minutes. And then anything moving, I'll move up a little further.
Okay. All right. So, the blind thing is a new thing for me. I never thought about it. I've got a blind and I've hunted out of it for deer and for turkey, but I could see us setting that up for squirrels as well. You can tell, this is more of an interview of Mike, because I don't do much early season hunting. I typically don't hunt till probably the middle of September.
Oh,
This year's going to be different. Like I said, we got some big plans for hunting. Uh,
September is when I
opening.
change my gears.
Well, that'll be for another video.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for watching this. Again, like and subscribe, and let us know for your early season uh, tips or early season plans. Let us know what you got. We like hearing from you and talking to you. Um, we'll see you next time.